Hi everyone, welcome to the 5th episode of Direct to You, a podcast where we connect you with the industry experts. On today's podcast, we have a special guest for you. She's a sports person, she's an entrepreneur, and she's a consultant. She did her schooling from Kolkata, she did her graduation from Christ, Bangalore, and she did her MBA from ISB Hyderabad. I present to you Bhavya Ranjan. Bhavya, how are you? Nice to have you on board. After almost 1.5 years, we are meeting.
Right.
And how are you feeling right now?
How am I feeling? Great. I think I've met you after a while, and the last time we met was in ISB. I think I was making you tour my campus. So
That was really nice.
you should tell me how you felt, meeting me in campus.
It was great. Like ISB, Indian School of Business, was something that I gave my exams for, did not get through. But it was great to get into, just see the campus. It was very nice. It was lush green campus, big auditoriums. I really liked it.
Tons of parties.
Yeah, tons of parties. I did not get into parties. But you also started your agency.
Right.
How was that?
So before ISB, I was also working in consulting. I think I've worked in consulting for about 5.5 years now, spanning from Deloitte, KPMG, Accenture. It's been a journey. But before ISB, for about 3 years, I ran my branding agency. It was called Downtown Groove. So Downtown Groove started out with doing nightlife events. We would manage F&B outlets, and it was something that we started out knowing a lot of people in our circuit, and then that became larger than life for us, for both me and my co-founder Megha. We really enjoyed that, taught ourselves some marketing skills, taught ourselves how to go about that business, moved into product, did a lot of IP events. Even we collaborated with UN, did a getaway in this island called Moshuni Island, tried to recreate Fire Festival and didn't fail. Did quite a lot of fleas in the city, and we thoroughly enjoyed working as an agency while we were doing that in Calcutta. But after a point, I felt like we stagnated. As much as we were growing, we didn't know how to grow after a point. I feel like we didn't know how to scale an agency after that. And that's when I decided to go to ISB, hoping to now build our next big thing.
Oh, nice.
As I was in business school.
Nice. So I'll just ask you and go back and just ask you one question. What is a 360-degree branding agency? Like, what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by a 360-degree branding agency is, like I said, we started out doing F&B, and we would manage outlets, we would help them drive sales, we would help them do events, we would do organic marketing. From that, we moved on to doing online marketing, social media. We went on to, explore products. We went on to help, push products in the market, help brand new brands. And we started doing a lot of things around that. So that's what I mean by a 360-degree branding agency, where we started out, we were not just fueling social media, we were not just trying to create content, but we were driving it with sales on the ground. We were driving it with organic events. We were driving it with a lot of push from the local
So you build a
circuit.
whole marketing sort of pipeline and drive it to sales. That's sort of a 360-degree branding agency. So if I have a product, say if I have a nail polish or a beauty product, would drive the sales through marketing.
So we drive the sales through marketing, and not just through like social media, not just running ads, but doing organic events, doing things organically as well to drive your sales, help you understand your numbers, and push sales ahead. So that's what we had evolved into. We started out doing small-time F&B events, and we explored the whole industry, and we enjoyed that. We enjoyed the environment so much, so we explored it as much as we could. But after a point, we felt like we didn't know how to scale that agency. And that seemed like a plateau to me. I was just like, what next? So that's when I went on to do ISB. I was sitting with my GMAT, and I was like, I'm going to go do ISB. I'm going to see what I'm going to do next with the next business that we build.
I see. And what was the biggest event that you did with Downtown Groove?
So I wouldn't call it my biggest, because that was not the most revenue driven, but I think I would call it my favorite. So we did a getaway in this island called Moshuni Island. That was in collaboration with United Nations.
Oh, nice.
And it was to drive tourism there. and to help, it's a very small island, 500 people island. It kind of submerges in water every year.
Yes.
And it's in West Bengal. I don't think a lot of people even know about it.
Yes.
So we found out about it by chance. Megha and I, after COVID, we would just take a car, drive off, and then that's how we found it. And then that became our mission. So what we did with that event is we kind of set up all the infrastructure on the island, from like tents, AC, generators. There was no electricity to, setting up a whole techno gig there. We took about 100 people from Calcutta all the way there. And that was one of the most memorable times we had. It was also very touching. UN went on to make education free on that island for every kid on that island.
Great achievement.
And we kind of gave back everything we made on that event back to the panchayat there. And even though that wasn't our most revenue making one, but that was closest to our heart.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right.
I never heard of collaborating with a 360-degree agency, but
Right,
that was nice.
Yeah, right. Because it was with a vision. It wasn't to make money. It was more of a charitable thing. So
Was it part of their
no, it was a part of their education wing.
Okay.
Right. So they were exploring that area. We reached out and, we collaborated, tried to do everything we could on that island. And that was our.
So you worked in a lot of big four, like you worked in a lot of consulting firms.
Right.
You worked in 3 consulting firms, sorry, I would say KPMG, Accenture,
Deloitte.
and Deloitte. So
Yeah.
which one was your favorite?
I can't pick a consulting firm, but I'd pick the consulting life. I think I graduated from uni. I did economics honors, and my first gig was consulting, and it was such an intimidating field.
Which consulting firm was that?
That was Deloitte.
Oh, Deloitte.
And I remember we knew nothing about it. It was my first project. My manager was like, this is your project, go there. And I was there and he was like, I'll call you. I'll tell you what to do there. I was a 20-year-old kid sitting in the office and he didn't call me for a week. He just didn't call me for a week. I was going to the client office every day. It was a big ticket client. Nobody called me for a week. And the client's coming and asking me questions. I'm a 20-year-old kid, absolutely clueless, absolutely unaware what consulting is. And I just winged it. I would just sit and try to answer that question, be like, I'm going to get back. I'll figure it out. And, this is what I need. I think I made up the way for a bit. The end of the week, my manager called me and he was like, there was no client escalation. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't tell me what to do. And then he was like, but I taught you what consulting is.
Okay.
And now we'll tell you what the work is. So, I think the way we were built to do things was crazy. He said, the first thing that you had to learn was how to manage a client, no matter what you know or what you don't know.
Okay.
So I think that was a skill that he pushed me to learn in a very weird
way. Like throw you off
the cliff. And then he was like, there was no client escalation. You did really well. I was like, I didn't do any work. He was like, I'll teach you work now. What you really had to learn, the soft skill, you have it now. So that was my journey. I think I had great mentors. I'm still in touch with a lot of my partners from the firm. Okay. And he's actually one of the partners is my mentor in Murb as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a great journey. Our network's been great, and that's how I've moved across the firm. But consulting really teaches you resilience more than anything else.
You were clueless on your first project.
And then I went on to learn the art. I went on to learn what the work was, how you go about it. But I think
what about, if I can ask?
I started in risk. So I would do a lot of ops risk stuff for my initial clients. I worked across a lot of Fortune 500 companies. Okay. Enjoyed, I was sitting on the Flipkart merger. I was during the bankruptcy, the WeWork bankruptcy. So I was on, yeah.
Wow.
So I did a lot of fun projects across a lot of industries.
What was your favorite project?
My favorite project? That'd be a tough one to pick. I don't think I can pick a favorite project.
Like one of the...
But my most rigorous one was surely Flipkart. It was something that a project I learned a lot in. Like it was
when
a lot of
merging with
Walmart. When Walmart was taking.
This was back in 2017?
No, 2018, 2019.
For about $15 billion.
Yeah, it was also a lot of like companies. There was, the founder leaving the firm, and there was a lot of scandal around that. Okay. So there was a lot of emotion in the firm as well, except the actual work. It was pretty fun. It was also pretty taxing. So yeah, learned a lot.
One of the biggest deals in India,
right,
where a startup like Sachin Bansal, the founder, he sold the company,
Right.
and that is still one of the biggest deals in India.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of scandal around the Bansal as well. So
Really?
yeah, him leaving the firm and him having some relationship with somebody at the firm, Walmart outing him for it. There was a big scandal around that.
That's okay, because of the Coldplay scandal going on.
I don't think anybody remembers that now, but there was a lot of uproar in the firm. So yeah, but that was pretty great. Enjoyed that. I also worked across a lot of real estate, so that was pretty fun as well.
Like real estate developers, like DLF and all.
Embassy,
Oh,
Brigade.
all right.
So yeah.
Okay, and then when did you join ISB?
I joined ISB in 2023. So yeah, I was working in consulting, and I moved on to do ISB in 2023 to 2024. I was in ISB.
Okay.
And yeah, then we are working on Murb right now.
Nice. And what did you do in ISB? Like, what was your master's in?
My major was in marketing and strategy.
Okay.
I feel like I'd picked up a lot of strategy consulting projects before as well. So I really wanted a major in strategy.
Okay.
And marketing is also something I had from Downtown Groove. So I really wanted to major in things that I had experienced myself earlier.
Okay. So was it helpful that you did Downtown Groove, you worked in the Big Four, and then you got into ISB? Was it in the credit system that they check all these things?
For sure, it was very helpful. So ISB is very involved in your WorkX. For sure, they look at your GMAT score, just like, IIMs have a cutoff for CAT, ISB has a cutoff on their GMAT, GRE score. But a major part of their component to select you goes into, what WorkX you had. What did you really learn? It's real life, because that's all MBA is about.
Right.
MBA is not about just academic caliber. That's a lot of people. It's not a technical skill that you learn when you do an MBA. You go out there to network. You learn from your peers. You learn how to have a lot of soft skills to excel, grow in your career. So that's why I really picked ISB. My aim was never to divert towards an IIM, because I wanted to sit in a class where I had a whole plethora of kids from different experiences, different walks of life. And when I was sitting in class, I was from consulting. There was a whole consulting group, but there were so many people from product, so many people from VCs, kids who'd worked at NASA, there were journalists, we had an IPL player in our batch. It was as diverse as it could get. And then that's how you really learn, right? Your peer-to-peer learning really works like that. I picked up so many skills from the finance bros in my campus to, the people who did VC. And honestly, I made my first pitch thanks to one of my close friends who worked in a VC. His name was Apurva. My first pitch deck was made in his quad.
Yeah.
And, he kind of held my hand through the process. So it's been a very, very helpful journey from their end. Everyone in ISB wants to always help you when you're in ISB, when after you graduate. And I can't emphasize on that more.
Right. So if a student wants to join ISB, like what is the GMAT score that he has to score? Or GRE?
I don't think they have a hard cutoff. They don't kind of put it out there that this is a hard cutoff. You have to have this. It's pretty diverse. But yeah, 720 is a good score. Anything above 720 makes it more, as it goes up, it helps you strengthen your application even more. But as they say, it's not the driving factor. There's so many things that come together and make your profile. So that's what it's about.
Okay. Right. So GMAT is not the end of it. If you have a WorkX for it, you can still get into it.
Right. Great WorkX. I mean, we had people from army backgrounds as well, people with 10, 15 years of WorkX, people from varied backgrounds. So I think their main criteria is not just GMAT. They do look at that for sure, and they have a hard cutoff on a certain score. But then they also look at other aspects. So yeah, I would emphasize on that as well.
All right.
And it mandates you, right? You have to have about 30 months of experience before you come into ISB.
13 months of?
30.
30 months.
So yeah, 2.5 years of work
experience before joining ISB.
Right.
Okay.
So that's a mandate, and that's how global business schools work, right?
Right.
Every IB, that's how it works. You have to have certain WorkX to about 2+ years of WorkX to enroll in an MBA, or else it's an MIM, right? anything you do right out of undergrad, when you have no work ex, when you don't know, if you go into a business, do a business degree, you need to understand some worldly knowledge. You have to work in it. You have to have some experience to actually understand what they're talking about to be able to implement it. So I was a strong proponent of that.
Okay.
And that's what really made me pick ISB.
Right. So what about IIMs? People who do engineering and then get into IIMs without work experience, like does it help them become professionals after their masters in IIM?
Right. I think that's going to be a controversial answer.
It's always like IIMA or an ISB.
Yeah. And it's an eternal battle, right? We're always fighting who's number one, and you know, where are we ranking? Is ISB number one or is IIM Ahmedabad number one? I think it's more to do with at which walk of life you're in, what stage you're in. And it's great. IIM students have great academic caliber. Some of them are so smart. When you're sitting in their room talking to them, they have great knowledge. But I feel like what worked for me was, like I said, the peer-to-peer learning. You understanding some of your work before you come in. And the diversity in the work, when you go into an ISB, say I come from consulting, but maybe I want to pivot into product, or I want to pivot into VC. You know, that's how you learn from each other. You learn from each other's network, and that really gives you a push.
Okay.
And except that, even when you want to start something, when I want to start something, there were people from different walks, from marketing, from VC, from product, my tech, everything. So I could learn from so many people. And even now, I actually call up some of my ISB friends and I take so much guidance. So, because they specialized in it, right? So you're sitting in a class where everyone's specialized in something. When you're talking about a subject, it's like a master class, right? Because people are talking about real life problems that they have really faced.
Right.
When you're sitting in a strategy class, there are people that have actually run strategy consulting, sitting, giving you, like, you know, real world problems that they've solved, which makes it so much more enriching as an experience than just opening a textbook and reading a case.
Okay. So in essence, from what you've said, IIM is more about academic knowledge. The students who come in are more into academic knowledge, and ISB is more into experience.
I think you're quoting that. I am not. I think ISB has great academic caliber, so does IIM. But for me, the pick was that, you know, I wanted to sit in a class where I had worked, others had worked. I wanted to gain from that network.
Right.
I wanted to gain from that peer-to-peer learning. I actually wanted to start something of my own. I felt like that would really help me. That was my pick. I think people at different stages of life have different things that they'd pick. So I would leave it at there, because number one controversy, which business school is the best business school in India, is going to be an eternal battle.
Business school now, and the last question, I said that IIM has more academic excellence, or the students that join in have more academic knowledge, and the ISB students, because of their work ex, because you said that they need to have 2.5 years of work experience, they have more work experience, and they are great to collaborate with because they've actually done the work.
Right. And I mean, they all have great academic caliber as well. I was sitting in a class, I had 740 GMAT. I had so many people sitting in my class with a 740 GMAT. So did they have academic caliber? 100%. So most of my cohort was full of like IITs and some of the best schools in India, some of the best schools abroad.
Okay.
So, you know, the class was full of like great kids with academic caliber and work ex. That made it like the perfect combo for me. So
okay, nice.
I
got a 600 on my GMAT. So that was like a learning experience when I pushed submit and the marks came in, like it was 600, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm never going to give my GMAT again. But yeah. So you mentioned about the ISB work culture. How is the party scene in ISB?
That's the most fun question. I think it's crazy when we compartmentalize things we need to do in a day. We put a little bit time for parties, because every day there's something happening, someone celebrating their birthday, ISB is throwing something. But I think it's a part of the experience. We're all almost like adults when we're in ISB. Nobody is a young kid or something. Everyone's responsible, and it's great how we manage it. Like everyone wants to ace their grades, get into MBB, and get into the best product job, VCs. But they also want to make sure that they network well, socialize, enjoy their time. And we kind of, now that I look back to that 1 year, it was grueling. It was so hectic, but it was so much fun. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
So the party scene is nice.
It's fun.
Do
It
they
is
have a
surely.
budget for it?
I think ISB is trying to get rid of the whole party school limits. So
Really?
yeah, shall not.
That's the whole fun of
The great
an MBA school, a business school, that
Right,
you
right,
network properly,
right.
and then you meet a lot of people.
Yeah, ISB did have we had something called Student Life Council. Their work was to make sure that all the students had a great life on campus.
Okay.
So they did organize events, cultural stuff, festivities. We used to have themed parties, ball pool parties, and Barbie themed parties, and traffic light party. Traffic light party was basically to make singles meet.
Okay.
Yeah, so green was for single, red was for dating, yellow was for confused. And you dress the color and you turn up at the party. So ISB was trying to make it as holistic as they could as an experience.
Nice. And you also mentioned there was a hamster or a dog which went, which you had given a name.
Yeah, so I mean that's Satish.
Satish. Satish.
Satish is our mascot. It's Satish is a porcupine. It's not one porcupine. It's actually all the porcupines on campus.
Okay.
The campus is pretty huge, it's almost 200 acres, and they've retained most of the forest that we built it on.
Okay.
They didn't want to cut it off, and that's attracted a lot of wild animals, from porcupines to like big lizard, monitor lizards, Komodo dragons, snakes, and we kind of coexist. To be honest, I think ISB protects their animals more than us. There's a big board when you drive in that says, be careful, peacocks crossing. But I don't think,
Wow.
But I don't think there's a board saying.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, but there's I don't think it's about, so they want all of us to coexist, and we kind of do. It's a whole thrilling experience. But Satish is basically all the porcupines on campus. It said that if you look at Satish before an exam or placement, it's really lucky. Spotting a Satish is very lucky.
Really?
And I used to spot Satish outside my house every day. And just, by the way, porcupines don't look so cute as they look in cartoon. They're pretty big. They're as big as a golden retriever. It's that big in size.
They're very small in size.
No, they're huge. And the first time I saw that, when I saw that size of porcupine in real life the first time, I was like, whoa, what is this animal?
Okay, so all the porcupines in ISB
are Satish. Right, yeah, they're all Satish and they're all lucky for us. And, we've been navigating life and luck with Satish on campus. So it's been great. And I think somebody named...
Before the exam.
Right, yeah, if anyone spotted a Satish anywhere, they would put it on the group. Yeah, I have spotted a Satish here. You can come have a look. But I think somebody from the previous alum batches named the porcupine Satish, and now it's a tradition. Now, I think it's an unofficial mascot for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That's really nice that you personify the whole animal.
Yeah.
And call it Satish.
Make something dangerous cute by,
Exactly.
giving it
Nice.
more human touch.
That's amazing.
Right.
So, we've talked about the general culture of ISB, we've talked about the party scene, and how is the startup culture, how is the startup ecosystem in ISB?
I'd say it's very great. When I went into ISB, I knew that I wanted to start something new. Both Megha and I were very aligned. Both Megha and I, Megha is my co-founder, and we had our previous business, Downtown Group, together. So we were very aligned that we would now want to venture into sports. Okay. Entertainment tech is really big in India now. It's actually one of the major industries, growing, amplifying at a great rate. And one of the biggest chunks of entertainment is sports now. Everyone, with the whole health wave, everyone's really inclined to, sports. We don't feel bad when we have to spend money, go play pickleball, learn a new sport. Everyone wants to go and take that one surfing lesson, go for one dive, experience something new. And the purchasing power in India has really increased from back when we were growing up to now. The number of people that are individually earning and the chunk of money that they are ready to shell out on, health is great. And when you think health, you think fitness, you think sports. So that's become one of the biggest chunks. And we were very clear, both Megha and I, we've been sports people since we actually met rowing when we were kids. And I'm a trained equestrian, I'm a licensed sailor. I play football. I was a pro sprinter in school, and Megha is a pro rower. She's a pro swimmer, and we've actually, our friendship's grown as we've learned new sports every year. We learned how to surf together, dive together. This year is for skiing. We're going to go learn how to ski this year. So that's the whole experience behind it. We were very clear we wanted to navigate into sports. And we realized that it was a very unstructured market. When we would talk about all these premium sports and all these different kind of varied experiences that we had enjoyed, people used to be very amused. But they used also be very confused. They'd be like, how did you have access to this? What made you ride? Or what made you, learn rowing or, certain type of different sports? I would say that we were privileged to have this infrastructure, and we were privileged to be part of these clubs or, part of schools are pushed from our parents that helped us grow in all types of sports. But I think that was lacking for a lot of people, which has now piqued their interest into these things. So we want to bring that into the forefront. We want to make accessibility, we wanted to make it very accessible to all. We wanted to make it more available, and that's where we conceptualized Merb. Okay. So Merb is a sports tech platform. It takes you through anything.
Ask you one question just before that. What is equestrian? If you can just throw some light on it.
So equestrian is somebody that rides horses.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's an equestrian. A trained rider is an equestrian.
Okay.
Yeah, and
okay. So ISB really helped you fund the startup also.
Right. So when I went to ISB, I was clear that both Megha and I wanted to now build in sports tech. We realized that it was very unstructured as a market. We really wanted to structure it, bring a lot of different type of sports, because when you had to book a sport, you had to look for coaching classes, you had to ask people, maybe look online. There were some random Google reviews, and even for venues, there are some players now that let you book venues, but that's about it. And that too for more generic sports, I'd say football, badminton, cricket. There are so many untapped sports, from skateboarding, surfing, sailing, extreme sports, adventure sports. On the premium segment, you have tennis, you have rowing, riding. And we felt like it was a completely unstructured and empty market. So that's what we wanted to bring all together on a platform where people could book a venue, people could book a coaching, training, could get certified, could get a trainer home, and everything with review and rating, so that, with pricing, so there's complete transparency. And that's how we conceptualize Merb. When I came up with the idea and I went to ISB, I started talking about it. D Labs is a fund.
And you pitched this in the ISB startup ecosystem.
Right. So when I went to ISB, I think I started talking about my startup. It started with, from day one, they start talking about entrepreneurship events. They get the entrepreneurship club in place. And then that's how we start talking about our ideas. They get D Labs in place, which is like a big fund that ISB hosts on campus. And that kind of helps a lot of us in the ecosystem. So that's how I started exploring it.
Okay. So if I can just ask, is D Labs part of ISB?
D Labs is a fund which is backed by ISB.
Right.
It is also incubated on campus, helping not just ISB students but anybody in the ecosystem.
Right.
And there are a lot of people that have their, there are a lot of mentors, there are alums from ISB but also from other schools, great entrepreneurs. So that's what the fund's about. It's a generic fund hosted on campus by ISB. So that's
it's an in-house startup incubator.
Yeah.
In ISB.
Right.
Okay. So say if a guy who has an idea, who wants to start up, he can go to D Labs and pitch his
Right.
idea,
Right.
and they can fund him.
Right, and it's an incubator, so you can get on a mentorship process. D Labs also has something called an IVI program, where it's through and through mentorship process and an incubator program for anybody that wants to do a startup.
Okay.
So which D Labs independently hosts outside of ISB.
Got it.
So that's what the fund is about, and that's how I was acquainted to it. I went on, I started talking about it to my peers, to the Entrepreneurship Club. D Labs came into place, and that's how I started exploring my journey. Built my deck with my friends in VC, and I started pitching across a lot of funds. So it wasn't just D Labs. I pitched to a lot of other incubators. I pitched to a lot of other funds, and I was very clear that I didn't want to raise against equity, because I feel like I wanted it to be a cash flowing business. I didn't want to raise, burn, dilute anything I had as equity right from the start, from my idea building stage. I was clear that I wanted to get into a competition, win a grant, and that's how I wanted to start out, because I wanted to build it day to day, learn to go through the process, and then be able to come up with my revenue, my numbers, my user metrics, and then be able to be at a position where I can sit on a table with an institutional investor.
Got it. So you wanted to make it into a proper business.
Correct.
Chalana tha.
Correct.
Then you wanted to get funded by an investor, like
Right.
Sequoia Capital or a angel investor.
Right.
But after having a proper cash flow into it.
Right. I wanted to completely, and when I actually launched the startup last year, I had a lot of VCs reach out. They wanted to talk about, what we were doing. But I was very clear. I told them the same thing. I was like, mujhe to ye dhanda chalana hai, right? So come meet me in this journey. We'll watch this journey together, watch it unfold. We'll meet you down the line. And they were also much more interested by that, because they felt like, this is not a cash. I didn't want to make it a cash burning business. I didn't want to raise, dilute anything and everything, and then just burn and move.
Startup founders do
and
raise money and dilute all the equity they have.
Right.
And they have no say in the business after the investor gives them money.
Right. And it's not just about that. I didn't want to make it a cash burning business. I wanted to make it a business to last.
Okay.
More than dilution, it's about a business to last. I didn't want to raise so much capital, not know what to do with this money, where to spend it. I wanted to actually run the business, explore what we were doing right, what we were doing wrong, and then be able to sit on the table with experience, with numbers, and more weight on the table.
Okay, nice. So that's how your current startup was formed, when you pitched this in D Labs.
Right.
Okay, and what's the name of the startup?
It's called Murb.
It's Murb. M-U-R-B.
Murb.
Not Murb, it's Murb.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, it's Murb, not Murb, like I've been saying for the last 1 hour. Alright, it's Murb.
Yeah, right. But it's like Zomato, right? So
yeah, Zomato.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's Murb. Okay. And it's actually a very funny story how we came up with the name. Okay. We dabbled through a lot of names, and then we
what
wanted.
Does it mean though?
It means nothing. We wanted to create a word. We wanted it to mean what we were doing. So, now that when you think of cab booking, you don't say, I want to book a cab. You say, let's Uber it.
Yes.
When you think of booking grocery, you don't say, let's book groceries. You say, I want to Swiggy it. So I want Merb to become a new unique word synonymous with what we do. When you think booking spots, it should be Merb it. Okay. So that's what we wanted to become. That's what the meaning we wanted to pick up.
Right. Like Google it, Uber it.
Right, exactly.
Okay, right.
Right. So that was the idea behind it. And that's where we're at with the name.
That's actually interesting.
Right.
A lot of startup founders, like this is my startup. Sorry to plug this in, but like a lot of people, they don't put in a lot of effort into the name, and they just, because they have an idea, they don't put a lot of effort into the name, but putting a lot of effort into and making it simplified as much as possible is very difficult for a lot of people. Not difficult, but they don't just put the effort in it. And that's what I think sometimes.
Right. Yeah. And I think we had a lot of experience from our previous business as well. We were running that as a dhanda too, and I feel like
from downtown.
Right. And dhanda can only be run in two ways.
Right.
कितना पैसा बचाओ, कितने बार उसको घुमाओ. Right, that's simple. In business school also, everything really zeroes down to that. And we had an ex-CEO of Nestle that used to take one of our classes.
Oh, nice.
And, that was I was so synonymous with this. And when we were in his class, that was one of the first things he said. He came into the class and he's like, I will teach you how to do dhanda. And it is paisa bachao, paisa ghumao. How many business cycles you have in a year? What's your turnaround in a year? How much you can save? And that's the core of any business, honestly. And that's how I feel like we ran Downtown Groove. I didn't know a lot of technical jargon, business jargon when I was running Downtown Groove. But when I came to business school, I realized, oh, we were doing this, but we just didn't know.
Did not know
this was the term. This was but that's the core. You learn from experience,
right?
And that's what we applied at Murb. And we try to curate every single detail and made it our baby.
Okay.
So now we're launching on the 15th.
Like in D Labs, you won the competition.
Right.
You won a competition at D Labs.
Right.
They funded you and they gave you a grant.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So we actually, I'd applied for a lot of competitions. I'd applied to a lot of funds. I was talking to a lot of people, connected through people in ISB, connected through the D Labs fund. And then we got the sweetest deal from D Labs. So here we are. And I think that's the best decision we made, not only in terms of money, but they're there in terms of mentorship, guidance, anything and everything. If I am going through a crisis, I call them. If I'm going through something good, I call them. And they've held our hand through the process, not just in terms of, financial support, but in terms of anything and everything.
Got it. That's nice. A lot of startup incubators which are now coming up. So I just wanted to ask you this question. So in D Labs or in ISB ecosystem itself, what kind of startups do you think are getting more traction? Like, is it fintechs or are they edtechs? Like, what kind of startups are getting more traction now? Fintechs, edtech, AI?
Right. So I would say that they are not a sector agnostic, industry agnostic kind of a firm. They are pretty fluid. D Labs is open to any great idea. You pitch them and they're there. So I wouldn't say that they're inclined to say a fintech or a edtech. To be honest, some of the best businesses are built like with core things. It doesn't have to be just tech or AI, manufacturing and so much more. So I think when I was also a part of the whole program, there was so many startups doing varied things, and that's what it is. Even though now ISB is heavily inclined on the whole AI wave, and there's so many people that are coming up with startups in the AI wave. Even we are a tech startup, right? We're a sports tech firm. So even though I was one of the sports tech firms, some other firms that got funded were core real estate businesses. They were core asset heavy businesses, manufacturing. So it was great.
So it was a diverse fund.
Yeah.
They would invest in what would work.
What could work, what they really believed in. And I think when you invest at such a early stage, when it's an idea stage startup or, where you're at pre-seed level and, you pitch, they really put money for sure in the idea, but they also put money on the founder. That's what you really put money on at that stage, right? Their zeal, you think they can convert. So I think they have a great team to assess that. So
got it.
Yeah.
So I really like the name Murb, and the website is murb.in or .com?
It's murb.in.
Murb.in.
Right.
Okay. So what kind of products, what kind of services, sports services do you list on it?
Right. So Murb is a all-in-all digital platform. When you think anything sports, you imagine sports, it's Murb. That's how we want to build it. It's across all sports. So I think there are some players in the market that list some venues of certain sports that are more generic. I wouldn't call them generic, but more popular, widespread sports. But our aim in the whole vision of Murb is to bring all kinds of sports to the forefront. Not just your cricket, football, but skateboarding, but diving, but surfing, but rowing. You imagine the plethora, and it's also to bring all kind of categories in it. So it's not just listing a venue so that you can book and go, but one of the major gaps is, coaching. Training, having great coaching or trainers as a kid or even as an adult. I have so many friends that want to learn or pick up a sport now as an adult. To pick up a certification. I'm a certified sailor. My co-founder is a certified diver. So, even certifications and in-house trainers. Imagine you having a trainer at home. How do you pick? You call, you ask your friends. But if you could have all the trainers listed across different sports who could come teach you at home or at a court, different type of events, marathons, camps, everything. So it's an all-in-all platform across categories that takes you through any sport across the range of services that could be provided.
So if I want to book a diving lesson,
Right.
surfing lesson,
Right.
skiing lesson,
Right.
I can go on Murb and book a lesson.
Right, and you'd have a lot of vendors listed. So imagine you're not looking on Google, trying to call them, not get an answer. You have all quality vendors listed. You have the users review and rate them. So when you have the users review and rate them, you know that, are they quality, are they not? You have all the pricing, there's 100% transparency, and you can see all the regions in India providing that spot, pick from it, and then go on and book it.
So what inspired you to start a sports tech?
We both me and my co-founder are so into sports. We bonded as kids. I know her for almost 20 years now.
Okay.
18 years to be precise. So we bonded because we love sports. And we both enjoyed different types of sports, learning new things. Every year it's on our annual agenda to pick up a new sport and not just excel in what we learned. And it's been a great friendship that way as well, except having a great co-founder with trust, coordination, so much learning from each other. The zeal for sport has brought this together. So I think this is going to be our most cherished baby.
Nice. So aren't there any other startups that are trying to do the same thing? Is the space, are there any more startups that are already present in this space?
The space is pretty empty. When you look at sports aggregation, there is sports aggregation, there's some players in the market, but it's more towards booking a venue.
Okay.
So I want to book a sports turf. I want to book a football turf, or I want to book a pickle court. Correct. And then I want to book a pickle court or something like that. But that is one of the most smallest segments for us. Okay. We're really concentrating on coaching, on training, on getting certifications, on having trainers at home from different events and experiences, camps, getaways, especially sports getaways. When we think travel as well, imagine, both Megha and I, we travel so much every year. Right. Where every second month we're on a new trip, and all our trips are centered around a great activity. We want to learn that, we want to experience it.
Skydiving.
Yeah, diving, underwater diving, skydiving, scuba, everything. That's been our experience, and this year has been chasing sharks. So we want to chase the most different types of sharks in the world. So every year it's a new event, and imagine if those things were, when people talk to us about it, they're very intrigued. They're like, we want to go on a trip with you. Sounds so interesting. But we want to make it accessible to all, not just like our 5 friends. We want to put those camps on the platform. Let everyone enjoy travel differently. Let everyone enjoy lifestyle, but now sports.
Right. Because a lot of, even I did not know, even myself, I did not know where to book surfing lessons.
Right.
So if in India, where do you book surfing lessons? I did not know that.
Right.
So if you could give a recommendation of where to go for surfing, which one would you pick?
I would totally pick Mulki. Mulki, it's
Mulki.
Yeah, it's a small town in Karnataka. So surfing has a lot to do with how choppy the water is, right, how the sand grain is, because when you fall, you really hurt yourself. It's the coral beach, you're going to get hurt. Mulki is very great. It's great waves, it's great beaches, it's great trainers. It's a small town full of surf schools. I don't think most people know that, but when Europeans come to India to surf, it's Mulki. And they know it better than most of us Indians do.
Yeah, I heard Gokarna if I'm wrong.
But I'd pick Mulki any day. It's great waters, great waves for you to start as a beginner.
Okay.
And for one of our neighboring countries, I'd pick Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
For sure, Sri Lanka. Great. Not, I'd say for surfing, it's great. Veligama in Sri Lanka is great for surfing. Both Megha and I, we went and we trained for a month and we wanted to like ace surfing. So we did that. I even lost my, I lost my toe there. But that's a story for another time. But yeah.
And now you want to surf with sharks.
Now we want to dive with sharks. We were chasing whale sharks last year. We went to Philippines to chase whale sharks. And we did that. Yeah, that was so fun.
So where in Philippines do you go for?
So we went
with sharks?
To Bohol. Bohol. So we did that. And our whole Philippines trip was around chasing whale sharks and diving and different water sports. And it was the best experience. I'd say Siargao in Philippines has a great surfing scene going on. It's one of the best surf spots in the world.
Nice.
Great underwater animals. So it's
So
one of
speaking
our
of
cherished.
sharks, when do we get to see Murb in Shark Tank? Do you have any plans to take it to Shark Tank?
For sure, we will. To be honest, some of the judges, they are ISB alums. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, the panel is there and we were quite promoted to do that. But like I said, we'll raise institutional soon. So, we want to get to a point before we start exploring all of that. So.
Okay. That's nice. For someone starting out, how do they find a good startup accelerator or a good funding opportunity?
Right. So when we started out, I feel like I had a network. I was from Prima Business School. The ecosystem helped me.
Yeah.
But it's no rocket science. Everyone can figure it out. You need to have your product right. That's where you start. Get your product right. Get your idea polished. Do your market study. Understand, validate your idea. Once you have that ready, I would say there is great ecosystem in India now. It's booming from D Labs, NSR Cell, IMB has an NSR Cell, Razorpay, Rise, and there are so many others. So there are great incubators in India as well. There's T-Hub. T-Hub is great.
T-Hub in Hyderabad.
Right, it's great. So they are great incubators. All you have to do is once you have your idea right, you have to find a match. Different accelerators have different, venues that they invest in, they are specialized in. So once you have your product right, there's so much that you can explore in India, and it's actually a great ecosystem that we don't know about.
Okay.
Internationally, I think you must have heard of Y Combinator. There's Techstars, and there are some of the bigger ones out there as well internationally. And when I had started researching, even though I had the ecosystem, I'd made a whole list. I'd love to drop that for you as well.
Yeah.
You can share that ahead.
And we'll share this with our viewers so that they can.
For sure. I have a detailed list. Yeah, if with a list of incubators, when to apply, which is what, agnostic and stuff like that. But yeah, you can completely research, get your product right, reach out to people on LinkedIn. The more founders you talk to, the better it is. And that also helps you build a mentor base. And then we have ChatGPT, Google. There are hundreds of accelerators in India and abroad that help you venture in.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be my take on it.
That's nice. All right, so let's move on to the next segment. Okay, so this is we are almost done with the podcast, and we are at the final segment, which is a rapid fire round.
Right.
All right. So I'll give you points out of 10. All right. Just simple questions.
Will I get a hamper like coffee with Karan?
You'll get a hamper. Like I don't have a hamper right now, but you'll get a hamper very soon. Okay. I'll make sure that you get a hamper from me. If you get points above 8, I'll send you a hamper.
Sure, done. Then I'm gonna fight for this now.
Done. I'll make sure that you have a hamper. Even though I forgot. I'm sorry, guys. So you ready for the rapid fire?
Yeah, totally.
Perfect. All right. Question 1: surfing in Gokarna or skiing in Kashmir?
Surfing in Gokarna, I'd be because that's a skill I have. So surfing in Gokarna for sure.
All right. Horse riding or sprinting?
Okay, that's a tough one, but I'd bring sprinting. I was like pro at it, so for sure,
Really?
yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
One client pitch you'll never forget. Which client?
It's actually funny. It was during our Downtown Groove time, and we'd pitched to a client. They were very interested, and then they said, "You both are girls. When are you getting married?"
Really?
And then the reason he'd give us the work was dependent on if we were going to get married soon or not, because he felt like we wouldn't be committed enough. We were getting married soon, so that was actually
a fertility clinic or something. I'm not sure why.
It's just funny. I think they based it on the fact that they thought women don't work once they're married, so they were very intrigued to know if we were getting married soon. More than the pitch, they were interested in that.
Wow.
So yeah, that was the funniest pitch. Yeah.
All right. KPMG or Deloitte, who has a better coffee?
I think we never really go to a consulting office, right? You're always at a client. So we can't compare coffee because,
So
the different clients.
Deloitte?
I'd pick Deloitte in a heartbeat for sure, because I think I had great mentors there. I had great people to guide me, push me ahead. So yeah, Deloitte for sure.
Okay, so KPMG or Deloitte, who had a better life? In which firm did you have a better life?
Deloitte. They made me slog more, but they made me resilient to anything.
Okay, 2 apps that you can't live without.
2 apps that I can't live without. Swiggy.
Swiggy, okay.
Uber.
Swiggy and Uber.
And Swiggy, the CEO of the Swiggy marketplace is also an ISB alum. He's made like Swiggy one free for us, so we're so biased to Swiggy.
Alright. So describe in one sentence pickleball.
Great sport. I think it's up and coming. It's up and coming. Anybody can play it. Right. Not my choice of sport for sure.
Okay. If you weren't an entrepreneur, what would you be doing?
If I weren't an entrepreneur, I'd love to be a professional athlete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And in which category?
I think I would have navigated that better if I was really focused in it. But yeah, I was a great sprinter when I was in school. I'd competed nationally as well.
Wow.
So yeah, maybe I would have pursued that.
Nice. Favorite ISB event?
Favorite ISB event, ISL, hands down. So ISL is like this big sports event that ISB hosts. It's they have a big money pool. People put money, buy teams. It's like IPL, but imagine Olympics across all sports. They buy players from all the years from like 2000 when ISB started till now. And it's one of the best things that happens after placements. Goes on for 2 months, heavily engaging. You meet alums, great sportsmanship. I loved it. That was my favorite time in ISB.
Okay. Choose a consulting firm, BCG, McKinsey or PwC.
McKinsey. It is the best. I mean, McKinsey and BCG are both equally great and they make you slog equally.
So all consulting firms make you slog like...
Yeah. But I think in order of slogging, it's McKinsey, BCG, Bain, and then other firms.
Oh, then other firms, okay. A brand you wish you want to collaborate with on Murb?
I think Red Bull.
Red Bull?
Right, for sure. Murb is all about like bringing different types of sports to the forefront, and I think I love watching these Red Bull extreme sports videos. I don't know if you've seen them, but I've made so many people see it. Kite surfing across a active volcano or the biggest ski jump in the world. So Red Bull kind of creates culture. Okay. They are creating culture. They are bringing things that we're not thinking about to the forefront.
Right.
I've seen someone do this kayaking thing on an ice mountain in Antarctic, and it's insane. The culture they build, the money they put. Red Bull is in every different type of sport, from like F1 to, anything you can imagine. Anything you can imagine. So yeah, I think Red Bull is a great brand.
Okay. Dream collaboration with an athlete?
A dream collaboration with an athlete, I would say Murb is about promoting different things. I would love to collaborate with... Yeah, for sure. I'd love to collaborate with Sky Brown. I think she's a very young skateboarder. And she's a female, she's 16. She's redefining the circuit. And it's such a niche sport. So for sure, 2 women founders running a tech startup, we'd be biased.
Wow. Okay. So final question. If Murb.in could host a sports event anywhere in the world, where would you pick and why?
Bali.
Bali.
Yeah, right, I mean, for sure. Bali for sure. Yeah. We're both of us founders, we love water sports. So Bali is like a great mix: surfing, diving, beach water volleyball, and everything fun. Okay. So Bali for sure, like a mega adventure sport day.
All right. So we've come to the end of the rapid fire round, and you've scored 9 out of 10.
Right. Where did I lose points? I would like to know.
Just 1 point where you were not being very definitive. You were being very general about it. So you got points over there. But a hamper is due.
Right. Hamper. Is it going to be like coffee with Karan hamper? Or is
it's going to be with relevant items that you would like. I'm not going to send you a bunch of stuff you wouldn't like. I'll send you one good thing. And you can make a reel of that. If it's worthy.
Totally do that.
If it's worthy of it, okay? And thank you so much, Bhavya.
Right.
It was great meeting you, and thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for sharing your experience with ISB, your startup journey, and I think the viewers must have learned a lot from you. So thank you so much for being...
It was great being on your podcast. So yeah, rooting for it now, and for Industrify.
Okay, thank you so much.
For plugging your startup in.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope I can also get some funding from the labs.
I'll connect you to people.
Okay, done. Perfect.